Do you realize what a fast-moving and constantly changing world we live in? The digital age has long begun. Always at hand, smartphones allow us to access information whenever and wherever we want. Interconnected computing devices, also referred to as the Internet of Things, enable cars and even refrigerators to autonomously communicate with each other. Through artificial intelligence, machines are already capable of solving complex and creative tasks that go beyond the scope of human performance. And all the big data is stored in one encompassing virtualized pool of resources, the cloud. The prevalence of digitalization is becoming increasingly apparent in our daily lives, but entails many risks. Data security and privacy concerns, susceptibility to crime and terror, social disconnect and lockout effects, threats that machines eventually will overtake humans, just to name a few. Clearly, we need to ask ourselves, who should take responsibility for the ethical questions that emerge in the wake of the digital transformation? Is it consumers? Consumers can solve ethical dilemmas by avoiding digital products which do not meet their ethical standards and manipulating the market position of the producer indirectly via demand. However, insufficient transparency of privacy policies and increased complexity of data usage impede consumers to adequately assess digital processes. And even if consumers are able to do so, they are limited in finding realistic alternatives, as the use of digital technologies has become vital to perform daily activities. Or is it governments? Governments may provide frameworks through legislation. Nevertheless, the ethical questions arising in the context of the digital transformation are global in nature, whereas legal requirements are limited to regions. And most importantly, legislation is often simply too slow to keep up with the rapid pace of digitalization. Or is it corporations? Since the use of digital technologies occurs mainly at the interface between businesses and consumers, corporations can leverage this connectivity to effectively address ethical issues. In addition, it should be the natural responsibility of corporations designing and implementing digital assets, but also of those buying third-party digital solutions, to ensure that ethical values are embodied throughout the whole process. It seems corporations should step forward and take on responsibility. This is captured by the notion of corporate digital responsibility, which was derived from the broader concept of corporate responsibility, with the aim to extend this idea into the digital era. If you search for corporate digital responsibility, you will notice that there are relatively few, wide-ranging definitions for this quite new term. It is observable that a lot of them describe corporate digital responsibility as a rather passive commitment or accountability of companies with respect to their creation and operation of digital technology and data. According to this viewpoint, the main responsibility of a company in today's digital world is a reactive one. Companies should react to and anticipate ethical expectations and arising challenges appropriately. The key aspect of this reactive responsibility is to mitigate harm. That also includes to protect users' privacy and ensure data security, to make sure no negative effects occur from human-computer interactions, to establish and follow ethical guidelines for the development and deployment of digital assets, especially for algorithmic decision-making, to avoid lockout effects or any form of discrimination, to obey the law and simultaneously act within moral and ethical standards, or to minimize the environmental impact associated with digitalization. But is this enough? Is a company's responsibility really just to prevent digitalization's negative side effects? Or should it also be a company's responsibility to make use of new technologies in a proactive way to do good? There are numerous examples how companies can act responsible and harness the potential of technologies to address the most pressing environmental and social problems that humanity faces. Beyond acting as a good corporate citizen, companies additionally can contribute to the creation of digital social innovation. Digital social innovation brings together innovators, users, and communities that collaborate using digital technologies to co-create knowledge and solutions for a wide range of social needs. Whether it is tackling migration issues through open networks that enable social connections, language acquisition, and job market integration. Combating loss of biodiversity through machine learning and artificial intelligence. Facilitating collaborative economy through sharing platforms that create new forms of relationships and services. Providing access to information through open knowledge networks that lead to breakthroughs in shared skills across the globe. Monitoring and detecting diseases. Ensuring increased transparency and improved compliance through blockchain. Or addressing the widespread disillusionment with political institutions through the establishment of digital democracy platforms that allow collaborative decision-making. By facilitating openness, collaboration, and citizen empowerment, digital social innovation proves to be an opportunity that businesses can use to facilitate sustainable development. These are just a few examples showing that with a corporate digital responsibility strategy, businesses can create value not only for themselves, but also for society. By embracing a comprehensive and coherent set of corporate digital responsibility-related principles, companies can adequately tackle emergent digital challenges and simultaneously ensure that stakeholders' demands are met. It is important to note that the new responsibilities can be an opportunity to gain competitive advantages through a better company reputation and increased customer satisfaction. Beyond that, firms have the opportunity to promote the potential of digital social innovation and thus drive the sustainable agenda forward. After all, digitalization remains a task for society as a whole. It is time for business to work together with charities, foundations, community networks, academia and research, as well as government and the public sector, to unleash the power of digital technologies by embracing a corporate digital responsibility strategy, to foster social innovation, and to design a more fruitful and sustainable future.